This year's recipient, which is a career technical education, or as a lot of you people know them by, the CTE Committee of Marquette and Alger County. The Career Technical Education Committee was formed in 2013 by Tony Ratasky. Tony's here, right? Where's Tony? Where's Tony? There's Tony over there. And Brian Cervella. Brian, I know Brian's here somewhere. Is he over? Nope, he was here earlier. And Stu Bradley. And I know Stu's here, and Stu's going to be coming up. The committee currently has 43 members now that represent 35 different organizations. And on February 28th, the 6th annual CTE magazine will be published. This publication is a combined efforts of the CTE Committee, Northern Michigan University, UP Construction Council, Lake Superior Community Partnership, and Marquette Alger. Other events and projects that they do are the Marquette Alger Technical Middle College that a lot of you folks have heard about, the UP Professional Career Days, and they hold that at different county fairgrounds, the UP CTE Skills Challenge at Northern Michigan University, and they do a variety of other marketing efforts to help publicize career and technical education programs, and all of us know how important that is for our workforce upcoming and right now. You'll hear more about these accomplishments along with many others from Stu Bradley, the chair of the CTE Committee. It's our pleasure to present the Upper Peninsula Economic Development Alliance Nonprofit Organization of the Year to the Career Technical Education Committee of Marquette and Alger County. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Do you need my glasses?
No,
oh, you
no,
got
no.
glasses already.
I think the last time I was up here a couple of years ago, I talked about being in a Munising, and I was stationed at K.I. Sawyer. And my wife and I and another couple went over there to the Picture Rocks tour. And when we went out by Grand Island, a young lady came out and mooned our ship. So that sort of set my example, and I don't believe that happens all the time. But anyway, one thing interesting about the people that got awards early this morning, Baco actually resurfaced County Road 581, where I live on the ends of it last year. Dr. Leonard replaced my right knee in May of this year. And Trinary Toast, my wife loves it, and we hand-delivered to San Antonio, Texas, to her mother-in-law, about 4 or 5. So that's I do have a small kayak that they maybe help me to get up on my larger boat, but I'm not sure that's ever going to happen. Well, I want to thank you very, very much. You know, and I look at when we get an award, and this award is for probably 30 or 40 different people that have really made a difference. I guess I need to, is there a, where's the slide? Who's got the slide? Ooh. Is it here? That one, which one? This is right here? Yep. And that's our logo. We had to start out with a logo. I'm an old retired financial advisor, and you want people to remember you when you go and talk about making investments. But this was something developed about 6 years ago, and we actually took Carhartt's font and colors and made this is not just our logo, but it's also on our business card. We have something to give everybody. On the back of the card, it's got 9 of our goals. The whole purpose of our committee is helping high school kids make good career decisions. And as far as I'm concerned, if you can get a kid in the right kind of line and direction, with a direction that actually leads to a job, you're going to save an awful lot of problems. And I personally am more focused on the kids that are in the bottom half of the academic profile, you know, because the big kids, the ones that are getting all A's, are going on to be doctors and whatever else. I mean, I'm not so worried about them, but I'm worried about the ones that stumble out of high school and with no direction. So that's kind of the focus. When we started with Tony and I and Brian, we had 3 people, and of course now this is a picture of part of the folks that we have here. There's like 36 folks in that picture, and one of the things I'm most proud about is that what members of our committee are the 4th of July, excuse me, not the 4th of July, 4-H, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, and the Children's Museum. That's the start of it. You know, and then we've got labor and business, nonprofits, elected representatives, local, and educators K through 16. We've had tremendous support from TV3, 6, and 10. We get an awful lot of publicity that way. I think when you look at what is CTE, basically I broke it down into 3 parts. The trades would certainly be the one we really got started on. Healthcare, which this is a high school class in Marquette, and basically what they do, and also Ishpeming, they'll have 1 semester of classroom, and This is their senior year, and then they go out and work and do the rounds in the hospital. So they really determine whether or not that's something they want to do when they grow up. And this is, half of the kids in CTE in high school are involved in businesses, business-type classes, which would be accounting, IT, economics, office management. That's about half of the kids. And those also lead directly to a job. Now, this is a few things that I'm going to be talking about today, and I'm going to go through fairly fastly. You know, our information that we're able to get out on all is really going out on Facebook, Instagram, our magazine, the middle college, internships, career areas that we put quite a bit of attention, geometry and construction, UP professional trades, career days, and UP CTE skills challenge. And both of those last two are UP-wide. First of all, with Facebook, we've got almost 2,000 followers right now. We're working on our 100th contest, and they're all donated prizes, probably by 30 different organizations in the Marquette and Alger counties. But that gets the attention to get kids to go look at our page. We probably put 4 or 5 posts a week on it. You got to be a little careful. You can't put them on all the time. And we do a lot of boosting, which means when you put $5 or $10 on there, instead of 25 people seeing it, you get 1,500 people seeing it, which makes a huge, huge difference. But right now, I actually last night, randomly, and you have to trust me on that, randomly I selected 2 of the $40 credit cards or gift cards to go to Jandron's Fine Jewelry in Marquette. And I think the next one on starts tomorrow, and it's a Girl Scouts cookies. You can get 9 boxes of cookies, and all you got to do is go to that website or the Facebook and like it. Or I think with the Girl Scouts, it's a very, very difficult I think it's a multiple choice question. There are 5 answers, and it's always all the above. So that's the way, if you get there, you're going to get it. This is probably one of our big success stories. This will be the 6th year that we've had the CTE magazines. And the lower one in the bottom is the one we're doing this year. Last year is the one up in the middle top. In the past, we've always put it as an insert in the Mining Journal in Marquette. We decided to do different. NMU had an idea, and I was kind of against it at first, but I think it's probably pretty darn good, is that the small magazine, which is 4 inches by 6 inches, 41 pages, will be mailed to every parent of every 10th grader, 11th grader, and 12th grader in Marquette and Alger counties. In addition to that, it'll be hand-carried to each counselor in each high school. And there'll be enough copies going to every 10th grade student to actually be working on this in the classroom setting. You know, one thing, and I think the next one is a page. This is one page out of the 40 pages talking about cybersecurity. And basically on there's information about how much money per hour, which looks pretty darn good to me when I look at that number up there, and a 35% growth for the next 5 years in the state of Michigan. And of course, Marquette and NMU being the hub for cybersecurity, it's going to be a huge deal in our region. And at the bottom of it, there's a link that actually takes you to NMU's website, which will bring on, probably give you like 1 or 2 pages of PDF that gives you a lot more information about the career. Doesn't help much by clicking on your magazine, but we'll also, two areas that we're able to put it on social media and be able to click on it, and it takes you right straight, because you want to make this thing as easy as possible. This is a collaboration of the folks that are listed up there: NMU, Marquette, Alger, Reese's, school districts, Michigan Works, Eagle Mine. And I promised, because I failed yesterday miserably to say that how much money Eagle Mine gives to this program. They contribute $125,000 a year, and they're projected to do that till they close in the 2025. So, and another thing, basically what this means is a 10th grader makes a decision to go into one of the careers that I'll show you in a minute, and with their parents. They take one class their 11th grade year, and the 12th grade they take 2 classes each semester, and year 13 they're a full-time student at Northern. Now we're going to adjust that a little bit based on our strategic plan, because some of the things don't need a whole another year. It's getting certified in cybersecurity and getting badges and a few other things. So we're going to try to simplify this in the future. Right now, the Lundin Foundation, which actually Lundin Company is the owner of Eagle Mine, they think that the success rate of what we've had here is pretty exceptional. Half the kids that are attending this this particular program would not have gone to college, and almost all of them graduate. and they all graduate to a job. You know, some of them go on farther if they're working in the healthcare and it's a lab tech, well, maybe they want to go on to become an RN. But it sets them in the right pace, and it gives them a good job maybe to be learning their RN while they're going to that. That's the page right there that's in this year's magazine, broken down by professional and healthcare. We added cybersecurity this year, culinary arts, and I'm hoping to get somebody to help sponsor somebody that's a UP-wide travel and recreation association. If you know anybody that fills that, it certainly would be a perfect place, because it's getting more kids involved in things that will lead a job in all the different restaurants in the UP. So I'll hang around and just wait for anybody to approach me at the end. This is a picture of the kids that are in the program right now. This is 11th, 12th, and 13th grade, 68 kids, and about a third of them in healthcare and 2/3 of them are in trades. Apprenticeship, working closely with Tony Ratasky, we put an awful lot of emphasis on that. When we post pages on our Facebook page, we don't just post it in Marquette, Alger County, we post it UP-wide. And there'll be like 6,000 or 7,000 people reached on our Facebook page and Instagram. And the number of people that click on it and want more information, it's over several hundred usually. And we do that like twice a year, and Tony gives me a little bit extra money to help support that. But it's a good way of spreading the word around the UP. This is probably my favorite picture of the Line Tech program, is the collaboration between, we started off with Bay College, and then it went to Northern, and a partnership is involved in this, and all the utility companies. Basically, I think it's about a 10-month program where they actually prove themselves that they aren't going to get scared when they go up in a pole. Plus, when it gets 20 below zero, they're willing to stay here and not go back to Alabama. So most of the people that are in this program are from the Upper Peninsula or in Wisconsin. Forestry, of course, is a pretty big business up in the UP, so we do an awful lot of marketing is trying to get kids involved. Out at the fairgrounds, we had a couple big equipment that probably kids had more fun operating that was from the forestry industry, but there's lots and lots of good jobs, as you all know about that. And agriculture. The MSU Extension, North Farm are members of our committee, help us sponsor the magazine, and also provide some prizes for our Facebook. But there's actually an apprenticeship program in farming. So and it kind of ties, our magazine kind of ties a whole lot of stuff together, and every one of them leads to a good job. And high school internship, this is a group of kids last year. This is test driving a career your senior year in high school. When we started 7 years ago, there was about 25 kids in the two counties that were doing internships, and we're over 80 now, you know, because I think it's the publicity. And I think one of the places we don't have enough kids in internships are manufacturing and other types of trade type. There's some rules that limit the number, what kids can do if they're not 18 years old, but there's other ways we can work around that. And we're actually working, our committee is working pretty closely with Ed McBroom, the state senator, to try to change the rules in the state of Michigan to allow kids that are 16 and 17-year-olds to actually work as an apprenticeship and get paid their junior and senior year. And I think Wisconsin, Colorado, and there's a number of other states that have that. But if a kid knows he's going to become an electrician, why hold them back? If they can get a good job, get paid in year 11 and 12, it just seems to me that makes a whole lot of sense. Geometry and construction. I'm going to make a statement in here that's probably the most important thing I'm going to say the whole time. Two teachers, a math teacher and a construction teacher in Colorado, developed a program where they teach geometry, a theorem in the classroom, and then they go out and apply it to a construction project. Well, Eagle Mine gave us $18,000 to bring in those two professors to teach 7 different groups of teachers, math and construction. This would have been probably 6 years ago, 5 or 6 years ago. And there's probably 8 programs in the UP right now. But in Ishpeming, I think the state changed the curriculum requirements where every kid had to graduate from, pass geometry, which is a very highly flunked class in worldwide, or United States for sure. And they put the people that have had the biggest struggle with mathematics in previous classes into this one class with geometry construction. And this is my point. At the end of the year, those kids tested just as high as the kids in the top of the class. I mean, that is significant. A kid having confidence in himself that he could pass geometry, and just having confidence in doing that is a huge thing. Plus, there's a number of things that geometry applies very directly, not just construction, but a whole lot of other things. Next, that is actually the class or the geometry construction class at Ishping, and the construction class took a, let me go back one page. The bottom left was the way the thing looked like the little shed almost across the street from the high school. They were partway done in the bottom of the right, and this one they sold to a disabled veteran and got the money, and it actually goes through a county agency that's got the money, and we're going to be redoing it over and over again. So you're taking the money, they're learning something, and you get a disabled vet in there, that even adds to it. I'm not going to say what all these letters mean, but basically it's algebra. It's the same thing, only taking algebra and applying it to a manufacturing process. And Marquette Senior High School is going to start that this year. And that basically, algebra and geometry are the two most flunked classes in high school. So and apparently the ones that have done this out in Colorado have had the same success with algebra as they did with geometry. Well, this is kind of one of the more interesting things. UP Professional Skilled Trades Days, and that's Tony Ratasky back there was he was the big honcho of getting this whole thing. We probably had, you can see on all the heavy equipment that's there, we probably had 50 or 60 vendors where everything pretty much was hands-on. So the kids could test drive things. In fact, now this is the Guard, this is the Army National Guard, and they brought almost more equipment than we really wanted them to, but they brought it there, and one of the bottom lines is, how many kids know anything about the National Guard? But when we took a survey at the end, 13% of the kids said that they want to learn more about the National Guard. So you can be assured they'll be out there next year. Next year it'll be the Marquette County Fairgrounds again, and I think the year after that it'll be in Escanaba. This was a portable welder by the Guard, so they got their hands on being able to do something very interesting. Now this is a pretty interesting, when you look at that, it's a truck driving simulator. Look how accurate that is. I mean, that's pretty darn amazing. Or if they want to really, wait a minute, I'm moving one too fast there. But anyway, that's of course a lot of variety of other hands-on type adventures. And of course, operating equipment like this, the kids don't forget that. May never do it again, or maybe they will. Maybe that'll be their career. And of course, climbing poles, trying to get money out of the UPCO and a few of the other utility companies. And if you show them somebody climbing a pole, they're willing to donate to the magazine. If you look at the kids' faces, you don't see that of them sitting in a classroom and having somebody up there telling them what it is like to weld. But they are all involved. I think my favorite one is the young lady in the middle, and she was an EMS thing. I'm not quite sure what was going on, but it was quite interesting. Now this is the UP CTE Skill Challenge, which will be the Marquette Jacob Reddy Conference complex on the 24th of April. And they'll be expecting more than 250 kids. This one is there'll be 12 teams of 5 kids that will actually constructing something similar to this. And of course, this is somebody on that construction who actually has to do a little wiring, and I only put that picture on there because being retired Air Force, that kid has an Air Force t-shirt on there. So he became a superstar right off the bat. And of course, like 80 or 90 of the kids are involved in welding contests. And as I look on TV6 and see an awful lot of requests for people to fill in for welding, I think this is a great opportunity. And of course, auto technology is one of the things that are out there. Not too many high schools in the UP actually have auto technology. I think maybe we only had 5 high schools represented. But there's jobs out there. Subaru's just opening up on the line. Chevrolet is going to bulk them back up as a Chevy dealer from Fox. They're hiring 200. They're going to have more than 200 people in Fox Motors. I mean, there's an awful lot of good jobs. And CAD, they had. I think this is the 3rd year for CAD, and they had to break it down into 2 areas, beginners and advanced. But those kids all will have a job when they get out. Culinary arts was added last year. Started off with 5 high schools. This year we're going to have 8. And I think at this next one, cybersecurity is going to be added next year. And that is getting to be such a big deal here in Marquette and NMU. And one of the things our committee we have actually gone down and presented 2 different times in the last 5 years at the Governor's Economic Summit, and that's pretty good visibility. We were recognized at the Governor's State of the State address like 4 years ago, and that was really in conjunction with the Middle College. But we're actually getting the word spread out. This is the one that tells a story, because when we started back in 1937, we're back in, like 6 years ago, there was like a little over 30% of the kids, 37 I guess, were taking hands-on type courses. The number has gone up to over 50% in the last 5 years. We don't have data for the following year because they completely changed the structure and the information, you can't compare it. But it actually is getting, I think, the right about number of kids that are involved in careers and not forcing them into going to a 4-year college. And that's the close. I really appreciate this award. The more information we get out, more publicity for our kids, they'll make good, honest career decisions and live happily ever after, I think. But thank you very much.